Hi everyone. So in this video I will be discussing about the development environment that we will be using for many of the projects that we will do in this course. So there are multiple options. You can work with Sublime Text, you can work with VS Code, you can work with Atom, you can work with brackets, okay? But I will suggest you to go with brackets because in many games and apps that we will be building, we would have a requirement to create a local server, okay? So there is an add-on that brackets offer you. It helps you to set up a local server on which you can easily host your code and easily run it, okay? So we will discuss about a specific feature of brackets that is called live preview. So let me show you why it is quite useful to use the brackets IDE. Okay, you can just download it and install it from the website brackets.io, and I'm going to give you one example of my interactive resume. I made this resume using JavaScript and Phaser, and the course is obviously the code is open sourced, and I will try to show you how you can just download and run this project using brackets. Okay, so you can see this is my resume, and this code is little outdated, but still this works. Okay, so it's not the same exactly the same code as website. I made some changes in the UI, but yeah, it's very similar. So what you can do, you can just copy this link, you open up your command line. Okay, go to the directory where you want to store your code. Let's say I want to go to the desktop, and there is a folder called games in which I want to clone this folder. So in order to download any repository from GitHub, we use the command git clone followed by the URL of the repository. Okay, so this will basically download this folder on my desktop in the games folder. Okay, so on the desktop you can see there is a folder called games, and you can find there is a repository called interactive resume. Now what will happen, you can see there are different files. Okay, so this is an HTML file. So this is the web page that uses the basic HTML structure, and this is the main resume.js file that implements the entire functionality of my resume. Phaser.js is a framework. Okay, it's a framework that provides you a lot of help to build games. And phaser.min.js. okay, so ideally you only need one of these files. So min.js means it's a compressed version of the file. Okay, it's a minified version of the file. Basically, if you want to put your code on a production system, then you can just compress your files. It will remove all white spaces and it will reduce the file size, and it will help you to load your website easily. Okay, so it will save time, it will save data. So it's a minified version of phaser.js. Then readme, you all know there is a CSS file. Okay, so in general in any project you will have different files. You will have HTML, CSS and JS files, and you will have a assets folder which contains various images that you would be needing to build your game. Now if I directly open this my resume.html, you can see it's not it's stuck on the loading state. Okay, and if I go to inspect, and you can see there are a lot of errors. Okay, so most of these errors are related with the HTTP request that we are making on our system. Okay, so on our system what we are doing, we are making a HTTP request, and this request is for this file. Okay, there is a JSON file, there is a PNG file, there is an image file. So what happens is your browser is directly making requests for files on my system. Okay, so what you do, you run your code in the browser, and that code requests browser to access the files on your system. Okay, but this is generally blocked. Why? Because if the browser has access to all the files on your system, then it could be a security breach. Okay, so it could be a potential risk. So someone can steal your data through your browser. So these requests are blocked by the system. Okay, so you can see the request is blocked according to some policy. So what you need to do, you need to put these files and you need to set up a mini server on your system. Okay, so you need to create a mini server and on that folder only. Okay, so you do not want to give the entire system access to your browser. You just want to create a mini server, and there you can just host these files. Okay, you can host these files on the server. Now there are multiple ways to create a server. You can create a server using Python, you can create a server using Node.js, okay, by running a command on the command line. But the easiest way is we can use the brackets ID, and it will automatically set up a local server for us in the same folder where we want to serve these files to the browser. Okay, so how a web app works. Okay, so you have a front end, you have a back end. Okay, so you have a client, that is the web browser. It makes a request on the server to give you the files. Okay, so if the website is deployed on some production level system such as AWS or Heroku, then the server is hosted there. But if it is your system, then you need to create a local server. Okay, so we will have a web browser that will make requests for the different type of files such as JSON files, image files on a server, and that local server will return us the relevant files needed for running that particular project. Okay, now you can see this is still not loading. So what we need to do, we just need to close this tab. I'm also closing this tab. Okay, and what I will do, I will open up brackets. Okay, so once you install it, you can start your brackets ID like this. Okay, so what we will do, we will okay, now you can see it is looking something like this. Let me first go to file, and here I can say if I want to open a particular folder, I will say okay, on the desktop, go to the games folder, open this folder interactive resume. Okay, so it will show up like this. Okay, and you can see there are different images, there are different files. So I will just open the HTML file. Okay, so this is the basic, this is the entire HTML file for my website, and here I include two scripts, phaser.min.js and myresume.js. Okay, so as I said, out of the two phaser files, you just need one file. Okay, so what we will do, we will run this code by using this button in the right corner. Okay, so this button you need to use. So let's try to open this. Okay, now you can see it's not a path of the system, but it's a local server. Okay, so you can see this is the IP of the local server, 127.0.0.1, and you are able to get all the files, and now your game is running fine. Okay, so this is a very special feature about brackets. If you don't want to use brackets, you can just go through any tutorial how to create a local server using Python or how to create a local server using Node.js, and your work will be done. Okay, so that's all for this video, guys, and we'll start with the coding part from the next video.